welcome to the deep dive. You're here because you want to get informed quickly, but also thoroughly. So let's get straight into it.
Sounds good.
Today, we're looking at a really powerful way to think about building wealth, something that goes, beyond just the monthly paycheck.
Exactly. We're diving into Robert Kiyosaki's ideas. You probably know him from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or maybe the Cashflow Quadrant.
Right.
And specifically, we're unpacking his concept of 8 different kinds of assets, things that can really pave the way to building serious wealth.
8 assets. Okay, that's interesting because, when people hear assets, they usually think stocks, maybe savings.
Yeah, the usual suspects.
But Kiyosaki's view is, broader. He includes resources people don't always consider assets.
Definitely. Think of this chat as maybe a shortcut to understanding some core strategies, not just for earning, but for achieving real financial independence.
And these aren't just theories floating out there, right?
No, not at all. These are tangible areas you can actually focus on, whether you're just starting out thinking about this stuff or maybe looking to, build on what you already have.
Okay, so the big question for you listening is, are you curious about how these 8 assets could be the building blocks for your journey to financial freedom?
Let's dig in. Where should we start?
Let's kick off with the first one, business.
Okay, business. When we think wealthy entrepreneur, sometimes that image pops up from movies, right? Maybe a bit intimidating, even cutthroat.
Yeah, definitely. And that image, it can be a real psychological barrier for people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not for me.
Exactly. But the reality of building a profitable business, from the ground up, it takes serious hard work, real dedication.
Less sweat equity, as they say. You look at people like Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg. Their stories are filled with intense effort, right? Not overnight magic.
Absolutely. And there's this key difference Kiyosaki highlights: active versus passive income. Most people are in the active income game.
Trading time for money. Clock in, clock out, get paid.
Right. And if you stop working, the money stops.
Simple as that.
But the entrepreneur, especially in those tough early days, they're building a system, a business that ideally eventually runs itself.
Like an automatic money-making machine, yeah.
Yeah.
Something that keeps generating revenue even when you're not, physically there every single minute.
Precisely. And the long-term payoff can be huge. Not just wealth for yourself, but potentially something lasting for future generations. A legacy.
It really shifts your mindset, doesn't it? From just having a job to building an actual entity.
It's about creating autonomy, something that lasts. It's a path to freedom, really.
Okay, but let's be honest. Starting a business isn't for everyone. Many people value job security, that stable paycheck.
Completely understandable. Which brings us nicely to the second asset, real estate.
Right, real estate. Now, this can seem daunting too, especially if you don't have a ton of capital saved up. Buying property sounds expensive.
It can be. But this is where that concept of OPM comes in, other people's money. Kiyosaki really emphasizes this.
So, using debt strategically.
Exactly. Leveraging loans, essentially, to buy properties that generate income. Think rental properties. The goal is to create another income stream, separate from your main job.
And the idea is that the rent coming in should ideally cover the mortgage payment.
And the other costs, like taxes, insurance, maybe repairs.
And hopefully leave you with some profit each month.
Positive cash flow. Plus, there are often tax advantages with real estate investment. That can make a big difference, too, putting more money back in your pocket.
So as you build up a portfolio of these properties over time, that passive income grows.
Mm-hmm. And your reliance on your salary starts to shrink. That's a big step towards, getting out of that rat race he talks about.
It's about making your money work for you instead of you always working for it. Using smart strategies.
That's the core idea, building tangible assets that provide security.
Okay, so business and real estate, powerful, but they often need a lot of time, active management.
Definitely. They're not passive in the beginning, that's for sure.
Which leads us to the third asset type, something maybe more accessible for people with limited time, paper assets.
That's right. Paper assets, think stocks, bonds, mutual funds. It's another route to financial freedom. It still needs good habits, discipline.
You can't just blindly throw money at it.
No, but it might fit better if you've got a demanding job. It's about redirecting some of your income towards investing instead of just spending it all.
So stocks give you ownership in companies, right? Potential for dividends, growth.
Yep. Bonds are generally lower risk, more about stable income. Government securities fall in here too.
And mutual funds are kind of pooled investments managed by pros.
Exactly. Diversified, professionally managed, The key, though, is matching your investments to your own risk tolerance. What are you comfortable with?
Very important. But the big advantage here is less hands-on work.
Generally, yes. Compared to running a business or being a landlord anyway, you're tapping into established companies.
And that compounding effect you mentioned earlier.
Crucial. That's where your earnings start making their own earnings. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. Even small, consistent investments add up massively over time.
You gave that example earlier. 5% on $100 is $5, and 5% on $105 is $5.25.
Exactly. It accelerates. Consistently investing, even modest amounts regularly, builds that nest egg. Eventually, the income from investments can really make a difference, freeing you up.
Freeing up time, maybe allowing you to explore other things.
Precisely. Okay, so that's paper assets. Now let's shift gears a bit to something that challenges how we think about value itself.
All right, I'm intrigued. What's next?
Commodities.
Commodities, like gold,
Yeah,
silver, oil.
exactly. This is where Kiyosaki really pushes us to question paper money. Is the dollar, or any currency, intrinsically valuable?
Well, no, I guess not. It's based on faith in the government, the central bank's ability to manage it.
Right. It's a human agreement backed by the Fed's ability to print more. And that means it can lose value, right? Inflation. Or other currencies could become more dominant.
So just hoarding cash might not be the safest long-term bet.
That's the argument. Which brings us to what he calls God's money commodities. These are tangible things.
Gold, silver, other metals. You mentioned oil, energy.
Food, agricultural products too, things we actually need.
And why are these seen as irreplaceable assets?
Several reasons. First, basic needs. People always need food, energy, constant demand.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, they often act as a hedge against inflation. When currency value drops, commodity prices tend to rise, protects your purchasing power.
Right. Unlike money, which can be printed.
There's a limited supply of gold or oil or farmland. That scarcity adds value.
And they're seen as safer in uncertain times.
Often, yeah. During economic turmoil, when stocks or real estate might dip, commodities can hold their value better. A safe haven.
So adding commodities to your mix is about diversification, protecting wealth.
Exactly. It's like a safe harbor for your wealth, something tangible that can potentially endure big global shifts.
Interesting perspective. Okay, from tangible commodities to something intangible. Asset number 5, time.
Ah, yes, time. We all say time is money, but Kiyosaki digs deeper. Time isn't just valuable, it's irreplaceable, finite, arguably more precious than money.
You hear those stories about athletes, right? Earn millions, then go broke.
Yeah, it's often not about lack of income, but a lack of knowing how to use their time wisely to learn about managing that income for the long haul.
And youth. Being young is actually a huge asset here.
Absolutely huge. It gives you a longer runway, more time to take calculated risks, learn from mistakes, gain experience.
And more time for compounding to work its magic.
That's the killer app for time. Remember that example. Mr. A starts investing $500 a month at 20. Mr. B starts at 30. Same 10% return.
Mr. A ends up way ahead by age 60, just because of that extra decade.
It's incredibly powerful. So how do you maximize this asset, time?
Invest in yourself, right? Use evenings, weekends, learn skills, explore side hustles.
Exactly. Don't just waste free time. And second, build what we could call time assets.
Things that generate income later, even if you're not actively working on them.
Right. Like writing a book, creating an online course, building a systemized business, long-term investments, maybe even a blog or YouTube channel that earns passively.
So you invest time now to free up time later.
That's the goal. And ultimately, true wealth isn't just money. It's the security and stability that comes with controlling your time and finances. Peace of mind.
It really frames wealth building as this long game, continuous investment of time and effort, learning, improving.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, which ties perfectly into our 6th asset, something deeply connected to our ability to use time effectively.
Let me guess. Health.
You got it. Health. Often overlooked in money talk, but Kiyosaki positions it as foundational. You can't use your time well, you can't build wealth effectively if you're not healthy.
It's so easy, especially when you're young, to think, I'll worry about health later. I need to hustle now.
A common trap. Thinking money can just fix health problems down the road. But it's often not that simple.
And you see that negative cycle sometimes. Work super hard, reward yourself with unhealthy habits.
Poor diet, too much drinking, no exercise. Then health declines, medical bills pile up.
And it actually eats away at the wealth you've built.
Sadly, yes. Many people only realize how critical health is in their 40s or 50s when things start to catch up with them.
So investing in health early pays dividends.
Big time. More energy, more productivity now, fewer missed opportunities because you're sick, lower medical costs later, and crucially, a longer, healthier life to actually enjoy your wealth.
Makes sense. What are the practical steps? Exercise.
Definitely. Even just 30 minutes walking, some yoga, doesn't have to be intense marathons, a balanced diet, less processed stuff.
Sleep. I hear that's a big one.
Crucial. People like Bezos swear by getting enough sleep for clear thinking. And managing stress, taking care of your mental well-being too.
So a healthy body and mind are basically the engine for wealth creation and enjoyment.
Couldn't have said it better. Wealthy people often invest heavily in their well-being. Okay, let's switch to the digital world for asset number 7.
Online assets. This feels very current.
Absolutely. And the amazing thing here is the low barrier to entry. You can literally start with just your phone or laptop, often zero cost.
Think about how we learn stuff now, right? YouTube tutorials for cooking, finance blogs, tech reviews.
Language apps, online courses. The people creating that content, they're building online assets.
So how does someone start a YouTube channel?
Could be. Share what you know, a hobby, build an audience, maybe earn ad revenue. Or start a blog, write valuable stuff.
Monetize with ads, sponsorships, maybe affiliate links.
Yep. Or package your expertise into an online course on platforms like Udemy, Skillshare, or your own site.
Even social media. Build a following on Instagram or TikTok.
For sure. If you provide value or entertainment, you can build an audience and work with brands or use affiliate marketing.
The advantages seem pretty clear. Low cost, work from anywhere.
Passive income, potential earning while you sleep, literally. And scalability. A small blog can become a big media business.
How do you make that leap from just content to a real business?
Focus on quality. Keep improving your content. Diversify income, don't rely just on ads. Maybe add courses, sponsorships, memberships.
And build a personal brand. Be known for something specific.
Exactly. Consistently provide value. This is really a golden age for building these kinds of assets. It opens doors for so many people.
Okay, that's 7. What's the final piece of the puzzle? Asset number 8.
Your social network.
Relationships. People.
Yes. Kiyosaki uses that saying, happy customers bring more customers. It highlights how important good relationships and your reputation, your personal brand really are.
It's not just about working hard in isolation then.
Definitely not. Success often depends heavily on who knows you. Your clients, partners, friends, even competitors can be part of your valuable network.
Kiyosaki says your wealth comes from your network. Strong statement.
It is. And the framework explained how networking fuels growth. Think about word of mouth.
The best kind of marketing, usually.
Right. Satisfied clients become advocates. Your network also opens doors to investors, experts, maybe job offers you wouldn't hear about otherwise.
And having a good reputation just makes you more credible overall.
Absolutely. So how do you actively build this network? It's not just about collecting contacts.
You have to provide value first, right? Help others, share what you know.
That's key. Focus on giving, not just taking. And be proactive. Attend events, join online groups, reach out on LinkedIn or other platforms, build genuine connections.
And that personal brand thing, again, be clear about what you do, what you offer.
Yes. Define your niche. Are you the high-end photographer or the affordable wedding expert? Clarity helps people recommend you correctly.
Makes sense. If people don't know what you do well, they can't connect you with opportunities.
Exactly. Look at any successful person. They almost always have strong networks. So focus on building connections. It helps expand your business, improve skills, find opportunities.
It reinforces that old rule. Success isn't just what you know.
It's who you know. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So that's the 8. Business, real estate, paper assets, commodities, time, health, online assets, and your social network.
A pretty comprehensive list. The main idea is leveraging all these different resources, not just money, to create ongoing value.
And you don't have to tackle all 8 at once. The message is to start small, right? Pick 1 or 2, get the ball rolling.
Exactly. Gradually accumulate these assets, build your own path.
So a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Reflecting on these 8. Which one really clicks with you right now?
Yeah.
Which feels like the most logical place for you to start or maybe to focus on next?
It's about taking that first step, recognizing wealth building is active. It's a journey of learning, doing, adjusting.
Couldn't agree more. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.